This habit is destroying your gains after the gym, and that habit is cold exposure. And you might be thinking, wait. How is cold exposure actually a bad thing? So many people talk about the great benefits of doing cold exposure, and so many top level athletes are doing cold exposure, and millions of people have started to do cold exposure, especially on social media. You might be scrolling and just seeing like people doing cold showers. There might be doing ice baths, cold plunges, and so many people are doing cold exposure and they talk about the great benefits of it. And in your case, it's not actually so good for recovery, and it's not so good if you want to go ahead and do cold exposure after your workouts, because you probably know this by now that actually when you go ahead and work out, you create micro damage in your muscles, right? And these micro tears, this damage in your muscles is actually inflammation. And you might be thinking, wait, inflammation is a bad thing, right? You know, it causes like joint pain and it causes swelling and all types of like acne and all kinds of problems, right? But this inflammation is actually local inflammation. And this inflammation is actually a good inflammation, which we want in our bodies if we want to go ahead and get stronger and build more muscle, right? Because this inflammation triggers mTOR, basically being an anabolic signaling to our bodies that we want to go ahead and actually get bigger and stronger. And this inflammation also causes protein synthesis. And all of these things are great because we actually go ahead and grow and get stronger, not in our workouts, but post-workout. So basically, when you work out, you're only just signaling to your body to go ahead and get stronger, but it actually gets stronger after the workout, right? Many studies show, in particular, one study in 2015, where it exposed participants after their workouts to cold exposure. It shows that it actually reduced long-term hypertrophy because it stopped many of the signalings to basically go ahead and get bigger and stronger, right? And it reduced strength gains in the gym. And it also blunted satellite cell activity, which basically means that their muscles weren't actually recovering and actually building more muscle and stronger, right? So it lowers anabolic signaling. It lowers mTOR. So basically, when they go ahead and take cold exposure, when they go ahead and take, for example, a cold shower after the gym, it is literally stopping the muscle growth process, right? Maybe not completely, maybe not 100%, but it most definitely makes a difference, right? And if you are somebody who wants to go ahead and build muscle and get stronger, then taking cold exposure after your workouts is not such a good thing, which you should be doing, right? And cold exposure is still a good thing and it still has its benefits, but you should be doing it with caution, right? In particular, if you're going ahead and going to the gym and stuff. Now, you can be doing cold exposure before your workouts. That is totally fine, right? But you should never be doing cold exposure after your workouts. If you have to do cold exposure after your workouts, it should be done after like 4 to 6 hours after your workout, or it can be done in the morning when you go ahead and work out in the afternoon or in the evening. That is totally fine. But doing cold exposure is actually too powerful. It is literally too powerful because you've probably heard that cold exposure goes ahead and helps with inflammation. Well, it also kills the good inflammation, which we have been talking about, the local inflammation, the micro damage which your muscles have got after your workout. It literally goes ahead and just kills that inflammation, and it basically stops the muscle growth process, right? So cold exposure is great. I still do it. I take my cold showers every single morning, right? And it has many good benefits, like such as increasing dopamine, and it helps with just having discipline in your life. But if you're gonna do cold exposure, then you should do it before your workouts or many hours, 4 to 6 hours or more after your weightlifting sessions. Here are some better recovery methods which you should be doing post-workout, which aren't cold exposure, right? Now, actually doing sauna after your workouts is honestly one of the best things which you can do for muscle growth, because in particular, when you go ahead and have heat and you are exposed to heat, your muscles get filled up with more blood. Basically, when you're sweating, there's a hotter temperature, your muscles are filled with blood, and it actually helps with recovering after your workouts, right? Because there's more blood in the muscles and it basically helps with the recovery process, right? And you should be having a high protein meal and a high carb meal after the gym, because so many people are fixated on just having high protein after the gym, post anabolic window and stuff. But actually having higher carb meal as well is gonna go ahead and help. In particular, if you're having a hard weightlifting session, which you should be having, you're gonna go ahead and deplete your body with glycogen, right? And your body needs carbs. It needs glycogen to go ahead and grow and get stronger and recover. So by having a higher carb meal after the gym is also going to help with recovery and balancing your body out. And in particular, hydration as well. Hydration is very important. And you've probably known this by now. Oh yeah, drink like a gallon of water, drink your 8 cups a day. But especially if you are somebody who is on creatine and you want to go ahead and maximize recovery after the gym, then you most definitely need to be hydrated the whole day, before your workout, after your workout. And I would suggest for most people to be drinking anywhere from like 2 to 4 liters of water, depending on which country they're in, what are your measurements, like how much you weigh, what is your height and stuff. But everyone should be drinking at least 2 liters of water every single day. Non-negotiable, I would say. Also, doing light cardio, gym bros' biggest nightmare, doing cardio. Doing cardio is actually great for recovery as long as the cardio is light, and it must be light, okay? If you do the opposite and you do hard cardio, you do very high intense cardio, then it is gonna go ahead and honestly wreck your recovery, because imagine your body is already fatigued, it is tired from your weightlifting sessions, and you go ahead and have high intensity cardio on top of that, it is gonna go ahead and absolutely wreck your recovery, okay? So basically keep it zone 1 and 2. And the most important thing is that you actually have good sleep. And when I say good sleep, I'm talking about having good sleep consistently 7 days out of the week. And you should be sleeping at least 7 hours. Anywhere below 7 hours is just completely a mess. That's it with the video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. And before you go, I actually have a Skool community called the Aesthetic Academy, and it is for people who want to go ahead and have an aesthetic physique, an attractive physique. And if that sounds something which you might be interested in, check out the Skool community, top link in the description. And thank you for watching this video.